Chicago Bears fans, it's been a minute since we've been able to sit down and have one of these talks and one of these conversations. And I want to start off by saying that if it ain't ESPN, it's first things first. If it ain't first things first, it's the NFL Top 100 Players list. The NFL hype has been real for Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields. Now, when looking at that list, I saw something kind of funny. Placed ahead of Trevor Lawrence. And I think Trevor Lawrence is an elite quarterback. I think that's where Justin Fields is trying to take that next step and get into. So that was kind of something that I saw and kind of, questionable about that ranking because he still has some things to prove. But I think with what they've done in the offseason, Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, all of the guys, Luke Getsy, I think it's in place to happen. Now, what I want to talk about is Justin Fields, looking at him in training camp, OTAs, minicamp, everything he's done up to this point, he's been hitting on all cylinders and he's been really clicking. And the biggest thing that I've been seeing and that I am seeing still currently, DJ Moore and Justin Fields have a connection. Now, I know behind the scenes what we haven't saw on the football field, they've been putting in a lot of work. And that's as far as training when we were on this intermediate period after mini camps and OTAs, now getting into training camp, I can tell. They've been working and training, and what we know is that right now, we're not padded up. So I don't want to get too into a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today, but we just want to touch on this and look at some of the things for the state of the team because when the pads come on, when we see some of these joint practices, that's when we can kick into it and say, okay, this is really the team. But what I'm seeing with Justin Fields in these 7-on-7, in these red zone, 11-on-11 periods, he's having good days passing the football. And something I saw in individual drills, you're going to see this on your screen right here, looking at his base. When I did my film breakdown on Justin Fields, I talked about that wide base in which he had and how that led to some of the flaws in the short to intermediate passing game and some of the things he can clean up. Now, we know some of the other things I talked about. The more I think about it and the more I have been thinking about it with Justin Fields, and this is a question we always have in some of the conversation we always have about Fields, how much of that was trying to build some of that chemistry because we had injuries along the receiving corps. We had different things going on. And also, we didn't have the pieces in place for our offensive line like we have now. Like I said, we kicked Tevin Jenkins back into guard, now drafting Darnell Wright. And looking at everything the Chicago Bears have done to now trying to help Justin Fields. So, one of the biggest things I harped on was when he sees some of his reads, he can read the football field. Justin Fields is a good processor. Now, I would like to see him work on his pocket presence, but as far as a processor, I think he's very good in that regard. And some of the times he would see the read, he's looking dead at the target, at the guy, but he doesn't let the ball go, holds on to it, scrambles out of a pocket sometimes. And like I said, that is the next step for him. But building trust with these guys, and I'm going to show you another play right here. This is Justin Fields to DJ Moore. And, funny thing enough, when I read this article, he caught this ball as they're saying in Lil Wayne's famous song, Go DJ.
So what I want y'all out there to do for me is say this, say go DJ, whatever DJ.
So that's something we got going on right now. And really, I want to see how things go as far as some of the other pieces because, Darnell Mooney, this is a guy that we're talking about being ramped back up into things. Now, of course, he's getting eased into this process, knows how he's going coming out of the injury. We know, sometimes he's in the walkthroughs, he's in some of those periods, but he's not really getting that true team action where we see passes going to DJ Moore and Cole Kmet and different guys. He's sitting out of those reps, but he's still getting some of the mental things. And I think that's the biggest thing for him going into a season, along with Claypool, another guy who's kind of easing and working his way back into things, trying to be that guy who they traded for. And he's also a guy. He said, this is the biggest season I'm going to. And, like I said, with him being placed on the PUP list, getting taken right back off of the PUP list, it's kind of it's a lot of things going on with Chase Claypool. And, there's been negative things to say. There's been positive things to say. I haven't wavered at all. I'm very positive on Chase Claypool, a guy who came over from my Pittsburgh Steelers, and he didn't pan out over there in Pittsburgh for us. But hopefully with, the combination of Justin Fields, with everything, with the guys around him, he can have his best season yet. Now, another thing, Cole Kmet, Big money guy, 4 years, $50 million, got that contract done. And Darnell Mooney, another guy who's looking to get something done. So we're expecting him to get healthy and really grind it out and try to prove to the coaching staff, prove to Ryan Poles and all the guys, he's a guy who should also get paid because money's on the table and it's there to be had. So when I look at all of that, Jack Sanborn, another guy that I could throw in there, as far as ramping up into things. And when we saw when he was not in, we still got TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Noah Sewell. He was the guy that stepped in for Jack Sanborn, kicking into that Sam role. And like I talked about, with all of the NFL, basically, we're nickel now. And it's really a 4-2-5 league, or it's a 5-2-4 league. And seeing a lot of that, it's going to be two linebackers. I think they know they can trust TJ Edwards. I think they know they can trust Tremaine Edmonds. But like I said, it's open competition to me. So I want to see some things with the pad when the pads come on, because I'm still very high on Jack Sanborn, a guy who I watched some film on him, loved a lot of the things he could do at the linebacker position. So TJ Edwards, keeping that eye on your shoulder, but also, helping him. Because we don't want to be selfish in this room. And like I said, that's one thing I don't think I see right now. Guys, they're all playing together. Everybody wants to hit the football field, get a touch of the grass. So we're helping you. If I see something you're doing wrong, I can help pick you up in that position. And that's just something like that. Now, last thing I want to touch on is Justin Fields. The hype is real. And like I said, I don't know where or how to really magnify this for Justin Fields. Like I said, a very good quarterback. And he was right there ranked along with Tua. Now, I don't know how much stock you guys put into the top 100 players list. I don't put much stock into it. You want to see guys on your team on the list. You want to see the best guys on the list. But it was just something interesting. And I think it's just adding to the fact of that he has the hype. And we want to see, as training camp continues, like I said, preseason joint practices, we want to see everything that Justin Fields does. But until then, thank you for watching today's episode. That's going to do it for today. And now we out.